Live from the Preston Highway Studios, it's 24-hour Purple People. And now here's your host, John Harper.
Good evening, Purple fam. Hello and welcome to 24-hour Purple People. My name is John Harper. I'm absolutely thrilled, I tell you, to have you along for the ride this evening as we are all set to talk all things Louisville City, Racing Lou, if there is any, and a lot more. It's Casual Sunday. It's Sunday Fun Day here on the program, and we are happy to have you this evening, and we hope you have a great Thanksgiving week coming up on Thursday, the big day. This, of course, is a kickoff to a horrible week for me, as it is Black Friday, number 27 in a row for Mr. Harper. Yeah, it's exciting. A guy that's wearing the man in black, as you may see here momentarily. My co-host for this evening's program, Mr. Ken Luther. Ken, hello, sir, and how are you on this beautiful Sunday evening?
What's up, John? How are you? I'm doing well. Getting ready to go into the dark times. I guess the dark times, the off season, Black Friday. It's when people die a lot over the next few months.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but we on the program are absolutely thrilled to have you, and you too, Ken. It was an interesting time since our last program. Not the outcome we wanted for Louisville City, and that'll be our first topic of this evening. When was that? A week ago today. We were down in San Antonio at the Alamo, Ken. Louisville City not putting on their best performance by a long shot, losing in the USL Cup Finals to a very, very solid San Antonio team, which we found out firsthand. Ken, watching this match, what were some of your key takeaways, and why did Louisville City not get the job done, in your opinion?
So you phrased the question, not putting on their best performance, or they were a better team. So I think they were a better team. I think some of us kind of felt that going in. I certainly did. When I saw them play, and, I guess it's an away form or something like that, but their disruption attack that they sent forward and just completely destroyed the way we were building out of our back. I mean, that's a tactical scenario that with the type of players that they put on that team, I didn't think we were going to win.
Yeah, they definitely came out of the gates firing, did San Antonio FC. I think that, the first of that game, they were just a full-on assault on Louisville City. And we were lucky there in the early going that it didn't get carried away. We had a couple of crazy scenarios happen. I know the ball hitting the post there, penalty kicks and all sorts of craziness, that penalty being missed, and then they come back to sink the next penalty. Danny Fondez, put into a very, very tough position, played very solid in the first two games in these playoffs. How much of the blame do you put on Danny for this defeat?
Not a lot. And the reason why is because I don't necessarily think it was his fault. He played the team that he had. He played the system that we've built at this club over the last 8 years. With the type of players that we have and the system that we play and some of the injuries, you can't blame it all on injuries. I think it's just the way San Antonio has built the team and it's come about using the tactics that they're using. I think it's superior with the types of players that they have. I mean, look at the average size difference between the players of us and that. Like across the board. It's not like, oh, he's big, he's just one player. No, there's a whole bunch of them. We've always struggled with big backs in the defense, the Bob Lilly teams, right? He puts big backs in the defense, and we've struggled with that. But this time it was just big all over the field. And smaller field, and I think a smaller field, I don't have any stats on that. We've talked about this. But, that was tough.
Yeah, it was tough. And Louisville City outpossessing San Antonio 65-35. San Antonio, we talked about before, not a heavy possession squad, and we definitely, played well in a lot of points of this game. We moved the ball pretty well, but the biggest concern, I think, the biggest takeaway I had is just 7 shots total by Louisville City. It was just kind of uncharacteristic. I don't know if there were obviously nerves play a little factor in championship games like this, but you're shaking your head no?
No, man. We had nothing up front. We started Lancaster, right? So how many people went, yes, we're starting Lancaster. And how many of us were like, ooh, right?
My first reaction was I didn't like it. And I think that's still my reaction. I think you start Wilson Harris, and I think you bring Lancaster in as a sub. Hey, Wilson played pretty solid. He led the team this season in goals. I think that he deserved that opportunity to start. It worked in the Eastern Conference Championship, bringing in Lancaster late in the game, bringing in Omby late in the game, and I thought that substitution worked there. Danny maybe not going with exactly what would have helped maybe turn that momentum in the first half. San Antonio is anytime that so this is now the 46th game in a row if they scored first, they did not lose the match. So
is that how they play? They don't. Yeah, if they get and 2 pens. Okay, so were the 2 pens legitimate? Yeah, I think so. Honestly, the second handball, right? That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Please say yes.
Yeah, it was kind of like a hands in the air. If you're a player,
we talked about it. We argued a little bit about it, but you have to define handball somehow, and that was within the definition of the term. You can say VAR until you're blue in the face, but I don't think that was a clear error. So it's the way the rules interpreted, But that happens. You get 2 penalties. It's statistically almost impossible for you to miss both of them. So, and that's it. And the way they just play with that, it's like they have a skirmish line out front. And they just destroy and disrupt everything before you can even build to set up your attacks. And that explains your low shot statistic right there.
Yeah, and, bringing in Omby at the half and Wilson Harris coming in the 66th minute of this match. I think it was a little bit too late at that standpoint. We did get one back, Omby sinking a very nice goal. But at that point, with 3-0 at that point in the match, it's very hard to come back against a team like San Antonio. And, they played very well. They were the top team in the entire league. These are the 2 top teams in each conference. So it does make sense.
I like the way I'm talking to you, Yellow. I like the way you phrased that. These were the 2 top teams in either conference. The thing about it is we don't really know if there are other teams in the Western Conference that are better than we are. I really wanted to play Colorado. They play a similar style on that. A, it would have been at home, so that would have been cool. But B, I think it would have been a prettier game to watch. That's the other kind of criticism I have of San Antonio style is it's ugly. It's ugly soccer.
Yeah. No, I agree.
No style points for you, San Antonio.
No style points, but here's a cup instead.
Okay, so you're champions. All right. Whatever.
Yeah. I guess the toughest thing for me personally was that this was one of the best teams in statistically our best team that we've put out on the pitch.
It's not our best team. It depends on how you measure the statistic. The best team can only be said it's the best team if it wins the championship. So you only have 2 choices, right? Mm-hmm. You can say statistically best team, whatever, but did you win the trophies? Yes or no? And the answer is no. We haven't won. We've never won the Supporter Shield, and we've only won 2 tournament cups, which is the end of the season tournament, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So statistically, the best teams are 2017, 2018.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very valid. I was saying that this team did impress us during the regular season and into the playoffs. I will say that those playoff matches, it's not like we remotely came close to dominating our opponents in those. It took all 90 and some to win.
We had
both
no
of those.
dominating performances. Did
No.
we have any dominating performances this season?
Not
Because I
too
remember
many.
seasons where we just mopped the floor with teams.
The
we have that?
days of those 6-0, 5-0, 5-1, 7-1 games might be behind us. I mean, we beat the Red Bulls this year, what, 6-0?
Yeah, Red Bulls. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't count.
That's true. That's true. Katie is in charge of my. I figured that was coming. Reds and yellows today. So.
Yes. No yellows for me yet. It's a record, man.
You've already got one,
Yes.
dummy. I got one too.
Oh.
Probably for giving the Red Bulls any sort of credit, but nevertheless.
But at least we have an impartial referee. You're not controlling the cards.
Yes. Yes. Well, no, I'm still in charge of your red and yellows. She's in charge of my red and yellows.
Is it, Ref? I don't think I agree with your system. I think we should have impartial judges, and they give us cards, or not.
Well,
should maybe even be the fucking people in the chat. Fucking, I don't mean that fucking I mean it in a loving way. The people in the chat.
yeah, maybe so. I will say
You don't want to give up control. That's what it is.
I like the control. There's no doubt. I will say that I'm not sure if you saw. You probably haven't seen it since you are on a social media hiatus. But
no, social media. Like, what good does it do, man? It honestly, there's more aggravation over social media than good you get from it. You can. I tell you what, I feel like a freaking monk. You can live a lifestyle without social media. It is possible.
I know. I'm going to do this real quick though.
Oh.
There we go. As I was saying, that's for interrupting me. I don't know if you caught it, but I was on the San Antonio podcast with Harry and the boys.
I did not.
You're on a red. You're muted. Don't you know the rules to the game? And Harry was a really nice guy, and it turns out that they were some excellent supporters. Everybody that I talked to that went down there had a great time meeting the San Antonio fan base, and I really appreciate them inviting me onto their program. It was really a lot of fun to meet those guys, and we exchanged follows on Twitter, and I'm following along. Unfortunately, when you follow somebody on Twitter, you're also seeing everything that they like. So I've been force-fed a lot of San Antonio championship happiness, but that's okay. We're proud of this squad. We're proud of what they accomplished this season. Falling just short, it is tough. It's been a tough week coming out of it, but you know, at the end of the night, unlike some of the other defeats that we've had in our history, I didn't feel as I'll take you off the yellow. I didn't feel as I don't know. It was a different feeling after this match. I was kind of I was proud of the boys, but also disappointed in that performance. But I felt like getting past Tampa Bay was such a big hill for us. Maybe we put too much emphasis into that game, and maybe we brushed San Antonio, or took San Antonio a little lightly. Not seeing as many Western Conference teams as we don't see as many Western Conference teams. So the ones that we had played this season, we had a few rocky games with those teams, even the bad ones. So anyway, we'll see how this all transpires into the future, but we're proud of our boys, proud of our coaching staff. Danny has proven himself. He's earned that spot as a head coach. He was placed in that spot in 2021, his first full season. I feel like he's earned, and he's been a very solid head coach so far. Can you agree with me on that one, Ken?
Yes. And you know what he gets to do is he gets to build his team now.
Right.
I mean, he was basically playing a team that was built. How long was Hackworth here? Not long, right?
Yeah.
So,
right.
But he was basically working off of O'Connor's, kind of skeleton of what he was. So looking forward to the future, I think we've got a lot of retirements. We got a lot of probably a couple more retirements. We've got some players that are in the twilight of their career, some carrying injuries and knocks. And then we have young. We don't really have a ton of stuff in the middle. So I think with the proper resources, Cruz has the ability to really pick his own style and start building a team for it.
Yeah. That kind of brings us into our next topic, which is the off season. The off season is officially here for Louisville City. And of course, it's already here for racing, as it has been for a little while now. You know, you just hit the nail on the head. We do have a lot of players that are aging. You know, Brian Ownby, same age as Coach Cruz. Several of these players above 30, which right now for me, the age that I recently turned, seems very young. But nevertheless, you know, your knees and your legs and all that are not going to work as well forever, especially in a sport like soccer, which of course is heavy on all those parts of your body. So it's going to be very interesting to see where we go in this off season. We do know as of right now, Ken, that Corbin Bone has announced his retirement. He did land a job with FC Cincinnati, a community ambassador of sorts, and a team representative, which is awesome. I'm very happy for Corbin Bone, and regardless of what team it's for, very happy for him. Also, somewhat breaking news. What do you keep that thing handy all the time? What is wrong with you? Back on the yellow. Also, somewhat breaking news.
Wait, I want to talk about Corbin, Raf.
Okay, go ahead.
So Corbin is a great dude. You know, I really didn't know him all that well until like the very end of the season. He's a super awesome dude. His wife's a tattoo artist in Cincinnati, and he's going back to Cincinnati. He's got a job in Cincinnati, and he gets a transition to whatever's next for him. So I'm super happy for that. You know, I was talking with a buddy after the Tampa game, and I was like, you know, I think that he's gonna hang it up. Which is great because he had an awesome career and he's a super good dude. So, wow.
The news of the day, I guess, so to speak, is no, I agree. Napo, Matt Soso, on his Instagram saying that he was very grateful for his time here at Louisville City and it was time to move on. Napo moving on, his playing minutes certainly were down in 2022, but he was somebody that was very reliable, I think, to say the least, for Louisville City. Could come in as a substitution, play a couple of different positions for us, and was really a speed threat, if nothing else, on the field for us. We'll definitely miss Napo. Kind of a surprise there, I think.
No, not necessarily. I mean, because sometimes people understand that they're not going to be able to get to the next level for whatever reason. And they come and they're setting up themselves for their life after soccer, whether it's in the soccer business, which is what Corbin Bone and George Davis did, or it's doing something else. Maybe they were doing master's programs or whatever while they were here on the team. And that's important that we have a venue. Napa was great. He played mostly on the wing, an attacking threat, but he was also very useful on that high press. And you're right, he was a utility player that came off the bench. We tried him at the 6. It didn't work out all that great. But to have a player with the soccer smart sense that he did, and the athleticism that he did to come off the bench to kind of fill in a variety of roles, good on him.
Yep. Napo, moving on. You know, Ken, one thing I saw about that was a few rumors. You know, he went to the University of Kentucky. There just happens to be a USL club coming very soon, starting their season very soon. What a landing spot that would be for Napo, right?
To be on a staff. Is he retiring or is he leaving the team?
He's leaving the team. He's not retiring.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's going back to Lexington, which is a cool town. It's not as big as Louisville, but it's cool.
I mean, check the population.
Here's the thing. I am not from Kentucky, so I kind of sort of understand the UK U of L thing, Lexington, Louisville thing. But I just look at the city for its value and what it provides its people.
Yeah.
Shit to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's going to be more to do in Lexington when that USL team opens, and that would be a great place for Great. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty awesome. Napo only 28 years of age. He's got some good solid years ahead of him, I would think. Definitely had some good games for us over the years, but never was too big of a threat of a goal scorer. But he did play a lot of minutes and was a utility man, like we said. The other big news that's probably not real news. Niall McCabe also came out on Instagram, had a very big thank you that I think was maybe taken the wrong way. This Instagram thread, whatever you want to call it, this Instagram post was I'll get to you in a second, was very, I don't know. Some people read it as a farewell, and some people read it as a thank you for what a great season we've had, blah, blah, blah. Niall's somebody that I just cannot picture not being with Louisville City in one form or fashion, Ken. All right, go ahead.
Of course you can. Niall's literally the first player I met for Louisville City before we even had a season. I met Monty Malone's. I met him and Sean. So literally first player I met for this team. Niall broke his foot or something, broke something on his foot, and it's not good. And if you can't, and if he's broken it before, no idea, or whatever the injury is, it's some of these players have to leave because they keep having the same injury over and over again, and it's just not getting fucking better. So the problem, which I was freaking out about a little bit ago, and you wouldn't let me talk. The problem is fucking people look at these social media posts and they don't have any context behind it, and they fucking misinterpret it.
Mm-hmm.
Never fucking happened. What?
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, I agree with you, but let me just read this. Grateful for the experience shared this year with the top group. Thank you to the players for making every day a buzz. Thank you to the coaches for making every day a challenge. Thank you to the FO staff for the guidance, and thank you to the fans for the support. So, I think it was probably just a thank you for the season. I think it was a little misread. Everybody's a little on pins and needles right now because we don't want to see a immediate waterfall of releases or people moving around. We have a great core squad now. Something you talked about, which is a great point, is that Danny is going to be able to kind of form his own squad finally, which is very exciting. Real quick, let's just talk about what do we need to accomplish in this offseason as far as what do we need to add to this team, and what do we need to keep the way it is?
Okay, well, I can't answer that question in 100% accuracy yet. I think we'll I'll never get to 100%, no absolutes, but we'll get a lot closer come next year. I think there's still a few questions out there before we start talking about where the gaps, where we really need to spend some money. I think up front we've got some injury issues, and Wilson Harris and Cameron Lancaster both have some issues, and whether or not we're going to be able to fill that role or not. I don't know who's on a 2-year contract and who's on a 1-year contract. I wish I did, because that would help a lot too. I mean, Dia and Perez are two we want to keep. Yeah, I was starting back. I'm being happy. Tosh is not going anywhere. I think the safe assumption is he's got house, wife, and family, and all that stuff here. So I think the safe assumption is that even though the club probably won't pay him as much as he should get paid, I think he's probably going to stay here. But there are some questions out there. Tyler Gibson is also 32. Yes?
Yep.
And he I think a lot of people undervalued how important he was to our system. But I think he's, 32. I'm 20 years older than him, and I can barely walk up and down the stairs. So
30, actually. I'm sorry.
Well, how old?
30 years old. Same age
Oh,
as
30.
Wes
Okay.
Sharpie. Same age as Wes Sharpie.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we're going to really look at it. Corbin Bone going out, Niall McCabe going out. Very similar players. I mean, Niall I think originally started as a winger, but then he got pulled in. Paulo Del Piccolo got didn't. I love him. I love him, but I don't think he has the athleticism to keep up with people like San Antonio, and I think that showed a little bit. So there's a kind of whole middle. If you want to prioritize resources, it's that very top, that one of those attacking midfielders that plays in the middle and a holding mid right up through the middle of the pitch. I think we've got strength in other places.
Yeah.
Kyle Moore question too, but Danny did well. So
yeah, I mean Danny, I think he started 6 matches. He came in a couple of times. I remember, let's see, we had Kyle Morton got injured at the beginning of one of the matches. It might have been at Detroit, possibly. Anyway, he came in.
He got knocked out during the game. Yes.
He came into a couple of matches. He started 6 matches this season. I think that Danny has some room to improve. However, he's pretty solid. He did play very well in those first 2 matches, and of course, some of those things were in the championship. There was just, I don't know if there was a keeper on earth that could have stopped a few of those strikes by San Antonio. So, and the penalty kick, the second one anyway, was
we didn't get scored on a lot, so we had keepers with good statistics. I mean, a keeper statistic is a team statistic. As long as positionally he was good, and I think he was pretty good. He also had a lot of good reaction saves. So, Kyle Morton, he got knocked out in a game, like seriously knocked out. And did he play after that? I think he played maybe once after that.
Yeah, he played several times after that, but there at the end though, he just missed the entire playoffs. So.
Yeah, and do we know why?
There was a muscle strain of some sort that was bad enough to keep him out. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay.
But nevertheless, it was not good. I mean, we would prefer having Kyle in that situation. Kyle is also 28 years of age. I mean, there's a lot of age.
28's prime, though. 28's prime.
Keeper years. It's like dog years,
But keepers often, when you're playing keeper in second division soccer, how much are you getting paid, and what else can you go do? I mean, right? This is kind of where we're going to have some players that come in. Scotty Goodwin is a great example of that. He left when he was 24, 25.
Mm-hmm.
Good, very good keeper. Very good. Played in front of Greg. But they don't. People. I don't think. Well, I'm not gonna say it like that. I'll say it like this: they don't get paid a lot. So,
right.
Yeah, you got to. The club has to stay competitive with what players can go do not playing soccer. And from what I have heard about some of these starting salaries for some of these players, they are not.
Right. Yeah. The market values that you'll see online, you got to keep in mind, those are market values. They're not exactly what they're getting paid. They're what they're worth on the soccer market.
It's like looking at your house on Zillow. I don't mean to interrupt you. Please don't give me a yellow card. It's like looking at your house on Zillow. That does not mean that is how much somebody will pay for your house.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And, we obviously have a lot of players that we love and we cherish here in Louisville that have become part of our family. We can't imagine a team without some of these players, Brian Ownby and the Sean Tosches and the Niles, and the list goes on and on. But it's time that we do need to make some changes, I believe, in the off season. Especially, I believe we can kind of solidify the midfield. Manny Perez, we need to find a way to lock him up long term. 23 years of age, a great player for us. Got more man of the match awards this season than any other player on the team. And I know that that's something that's like, okay, whatever. But look, he had silently one of the best. One of the things that I said on that San Antonio podcast is he is was silently one of our best players of the year. What I meant by that was he's not a name that gets thrown around every time somebody talks about Louisville City. They talk about strikers and things like that. They talk about some of the when they talk new signings, they talk Wilson Harris and Enoch. They don't talk as much about Manny Perez. So I think he needs to have a little bit more of a pat on the back. I think he had a tremendous season, and he was all over the place. He was rock solid, and I think we need to find him a little help there, maybe in the midfield, possibly some fresh legs. We definitely lowered that age average last season. We brought in him. We brought in Musha Galusa. We brought in Wilson Harris. So you just wait. So I think that maybe that's something that we need to do in the off season as well. I think people like Sean Tosh, you continue to play Tosh. He had career numbers, and once again, third year straight was on the USL All League team. He has been rock solid for us for quite some time. But it's going to be interesting to see where we find, and it could be Wilson Harris, it could be Enoch, but finding that next Lancaster, the next Ownby, we're going to see how all that turns out. We need more goals, I think, more than anything. It'd be nice to have some of those bigger wins, bigger win differences that we talked about at the beginning of this episode. Yes?
Can I talk about? Okay. Your point on lowered the age average. We lowered the age average because we're starting to bring in academy players. So now we have a whole bunch of young players. We have a whole bunch of old players. And there's that we were able to bring that old player average down because we brought in a whole bunch of teenagers. Right? Fucking numbers. But we still got a lot of old players. So we still have a significant amount of people that on the team that need to be looked at and potentially replaced to build. I mean, this will probably be we should bet. Let's bet that this going from this team to whatever Danny Cruz fields in March of 2023 will be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, change in the number of players that leave this club and come in.
We'll see.
You want to bet? Would you take that bet?
I've got too much money on World Cup matches right now. I can't take any more bets. Sorry.
Fuck that. I'm not even going to watch the World Cup, dude.
Well, that's fine. You can. I'll be rolling in cash, and you can.
Yeah, okay. I would love to see your bets, though. So I'd be critical of them.
My buddy made some bets on Louisville City and San Antonio. Neither of them hit. He took the under 2.5, and he took a draw at the end of 90, and both of those did not come true.
I thought the draw at the end of the 90 was a possible, but after about watching the game for the 10-15 minutes, I was like, yeah, they're gonna win this game. They were fucking all over us from fucking whistle.
Well, if those are keeping count at home, Ken's now up to 17 F-bombs in this episode. We want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat this evening. We're losing all of our sponsors this evening.
Sponsors? What are our sponsors?
USAA. No, I'm just kidding. They're on they're on an ad.
No, USA is like, dump this fucking guy.
Yeah, that's 17. Nevertheless,
I didn't know I couldn't say fuck on this.
You can say it as much as you want.
Fuckity, fuck.
I know. It's a sailor over here.
Sailor? Fuck that. Go Army, be Navy.
Oh, we've gone off the rails.
All right.
I told you it was Sunday Fun Day, folks, and I apologize for that man's vicious language. I think that one thing I'd like to see in the offseason is more work from a lot of people with this team. You hit on the academy. As much as I love the academy, I feel like we're making some superstar players. I'm not sure how long we're going to see Josh Winder in purple. Elijah might be the same. We'll see. How about quickly, we will talk about racing in the offseason. The NWSL, they released a new, different type of schedule. The Challenge Cup is now not at the beginning of the season. It is going to go throughout the season with the finals of the Challenge Cup to be played in mid-September, I believe. Definitely a better format, Ken. I like the idea behind the Challenge Cup kind of going throughout the season. We'll see equal amount of home and away games, no weekday games in any single NWSL team. So they're sticking to Saturdays and Sundays as far as I can tell. other than that, though, as far as Racing Louisville, we unfortunately lost Gemma Bonner this week. What does this team need to do? I know we have a big draft coming up in January. We've got 6 picks, I believe, in the first 4 rounds of the draft. So hopefully we'll be picking up some players from that. But there's a lot of work to be done for Racing Lou.
Yes, there is. Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to this more than I'm looking forward to whatever happens in the city. Because I think it's finally Kim's team, and I think he finally gets to start doing what he wants to do with the team. Gemma Bonner, she was a good defender, and but she I think was a little on the pace side, maybe unable to keep up with some of the attacking talent that the NWSL is going to throw at them. It's the best attacking talent in the world, so you have to have defenders that can keep up with some of that. We watched Sophia Smith all over us. Right, and we watched a number of other players all over us, and just destroyed our team. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. The thing I like about women's soccer right now is it's really starting to come into the fold, and there are a ton of good, especially European players out there that could come. We've never heard of them, but they're really fucking good. So that is going to be awesome. And what I like about what Racing Louisville has done is they've increased the number of international spots that they have over a lot of other teams. So that's going to be pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, that will be fun. That will be good to see. And of course, everything going on with the team and the front office and all that. There's a lot of storylines heading into 2023. And we could talk about all those storylines all day with Racing Lou, but we want to support these women and we want them to have a successful team on the pitch. But nevertheless, yeah, you're right.
Coach Kim, handicap, or that's a terrible way of putting it. Let me think of a different word. It's when you talk about the ability to build a really good fucking team, especially with all the money that we have in international slots up, and you balance again how fucked up our front office has handled this whole situation, where I don't think it's been proven, but it's been rumored it's why serious superstars did not come to this club in the first place. And how are you going to recruit talent to come to play for the team? I think it's a serious impediment. And I think the club has destroyed trust of club. When I say club, it equals Soccer Holdings. Soccer Holdings has destroyed trust and confidence, not only with the supporters groups, or at least some of them, right? They got their buddy ones, but they got some of them. Also with fucking players that don't want to come here. That fucking should say something. I'm sorry. I'm going to shut up now.
No, it's fine. I'm just keeping count.
It should say something to them.
It should.
And they should understand what the fuck they did and how badly they're fucking up this whole situation. And they continue to do it. I mean, the Tyler Griever article that came out, it was like War and Peace, and took like forever to fucking read, had a lot of detail for a reason, because they did a lot of dumb shit.
Mom, I appreciate all your support over the many months that 24-hour Purple People have been on the air. I know you love Ken. You've told me this, and
bro, I didn't know your mom was on.
No, I'm messing with you. No, you're exactly right, Ken. This is not a welcoming place at the moment. Let's just cut to the chase. It's not a welcoming place for women players under no circumstances is it. Now, I would also argue. No, it's my turn.
You're good. No,
I would also argue that there's not. So it seems there's not too many welcoming locations for women's soccer players right now in North America, and ours has been highly publicized. And obviously, with the Yates report, ours was probably of all the stories that kind of came out from that. Ours was definitely the most detailed and the most shocking and appalling. And let's just hope that there is good things on the horizon, not only here in Louisville, but throughout women's soccer in America. I do think that when these situations arise, you look to your veteran players. Not only are we going to look for our veteran players to help lead a lot of young players next season, obviously with these draft picks, we're going to have even more young players. It's kind of the opposite of Louisville City. We're going to have a lot of young players on this team. So we're looking for our veteran players to lead them on the pitch. We also need our veteran players to be ambassadors of change, ambassadors of things that can make a difference for Racing Louisville and the changes that need to happen. They basically said in that Tyler Griever story that anybody associated with these abuse and all the things surrounding it should no longer be a part of Racing Louisville. For that to happen, one would think that that means a complete change, not only with president level, we're talking ownership changes and all that kind of stuff. A lot
hold on.
to transpire.
Okay, I gotta interrupt. Please don't give me a card. We gotta be fucking realistic about what it is we think we can get done and what we're willing to accept. And I know, I think at this point, when you continue to get, bad news does not get better with age, which is the current strategy of the Soccer Holdings. It's rotting and it's stinking. You know what? It's going to continue to rot and stink and grow. I see references to how shitty an organization Soccer Holdings is in media that is completely unrelated to social media and all of that. The reputation of the organization is currently getting fucking destroyed in this town. So keep it up and find out what the fuck happens. It pisses me off because $30 million of taxpayer money is fucking sunk into that stadium.
Ken is so mad he's using the F word.
Okay. But what was I talking about? Oh, what was I talking about? I was talking about players, right?
Well, we were talking about. I was saying that.
Lost it. Train of thought gone. I got so fucking
mad.
pissed off.
I'm right there with you.
Target heart rate achieved.
I'm right there with you, buddy. Hey, you know what? We need a palate cleanser. Let's take a second and look at the chat. Hey, how you guys doing out there? Let me.
I can't see it.
Oh, we have Harry. Harry Austin from San Antonio is in the chat. Yeah, so Harry was very welcoming. I talked about this earlier, Ken. Harry was very welcoming to all the Louisville City faithful. They all took a big group photo down there. Harry was very nice to have me on his podcast. Check it out. The San Antonio. What's that? SATX San Antonio Roundtable Podcast. It's on YouTube. It's on all the things that we're on. And, you know, they have a really cool format. I like their show. They've had several guests and hosts over the years, and they have a really cool format. They use Streamlabs, which is something I'm going to look into in the off season. We might switch it up a little bit. That's something we're about to talk about here in a second. But we thank everybody for being in the live chat this evening. And Harry was very nice to all the supporters from Louisville City, and congratulations to San Antonio. You know, Ken, I don't know if you saw, but they jumped in the river down there to celebrate on Wednesday. They jumped in the river there in downtown. You know, they have that river walk in San Antonio. It's beautiful.
Been there. Been there. Yeah, I went to Fort Sam Houston. I think that's Fort there. Just for a brief fucking, you know, do a couple days of work, briefing. You know, I was the guy with the PowerPoint slides briefing the soldiers. They hate me because I bored them to death. But we stayed on the Riverwalk there, which is a fucking completely, it was like just some destitute, shitty garbage river out in the middle of nowhere with a desert around it. And they're like, well, let's build this huge fucking thing right along the river on both sides. And it's awesome. It's like the American version of a European city built around a river. It's super
it's beautiful. Cool. Everybody that goes down to San Antonio always talks about it. They jumped in that river. I think it was rather chilly too at the time. So, yeah, you know, that's how everybody celebrates in their own way. I wouldn't want to jump in the Ohio necessarily. The polar plunge has been fun before, but that was for charity. I don't know if I'd want to. We
did that. Did I tell you I did that with the Coopers?
Oh, the polar plunge.
No, and we partnered with the Heretics, right? So you remember the King from the Heretics?
Yeah, of
James,
course. Mm-hmm.
Right? So he wore his whole fucking outfit Oh,
Oh,
and Jorge was there too, and Jorge had his purple mohawk on, and we jumped. First, we froze to death all the way down. I'm not sure why we didn't bring a ton of alcohol, but we didn't. And then second, we jumped in, and I've been in cold water before, and it felt just like that. It's like if you're a man, your balls go into your throat. It's just fucking like up through your body. I'm
That's just science,
my
folks.
balls.
That's just science.
It is very much science. But the king and Jorge jumped in after me, and the king had a scepter too.
Did he really? Nice.
They jumped in. They did not realize how fucking cold it was going to be. And the king's cape went over his head, and he almost drowned. So it was like over his head, and the people with like the hooks were like, "Oh shit, we're gonna have to go get him." He lived. He lived.
Oh dear. I'm glad he did though. I miss the heretics. Miss those guys. Yeah, good for them. Good for them. I'm glad they got to celebrate. They were a really very welcoming on their podcast. So I appreciate Harry dropping a few lines
awesome
for us this evening. And it was really fun being on there. Kim, when I went on to their YouTube channel and checked it out, I started kind of getting some, how YouTube gives you suggestions based on what you're watching and all that. There are some great other communities out there doing similar type shows that we do. And I think every time, the best thing, I guess, for soccer as a whole to me in America and the USL is every time, and we've been fortunate with Louisville City to be in several Eastern Conference championship games, we meet a lot of fan bases. And while I'm on the topic of such, one fan base that we met not too long ago was the Colorado Springs fan base, which had a horrible tragedy yesterday, a shooting at a nightclub there in Colorado Springs. So our thoughts and prayers go out to our friends with the Trailheads and my friend Annie with all them. So sucky situation, but nevertheless, we meet amazing people. There's amazing people doing content, all these content creators. Benton for Louisville City and Racing, Benton with the Vamos Verados podcast. He does a lot of great work, recaps and different things on Twitter, and keeps it's a lot to do for a hobby that you're not getting anything in return for other than just personal personal fun and personal gain. It is fun to do, like that's why I do this. I enjoy doing it. I'm not thinking that, well, one day I'm going to make money on this. Like that never crosses my mind. I just like doing it. So, and there's a lot of people like that put a lot of content out, and there's so many great content creators for the Louisville market and in San Antonio as well, and all over the country. So it was really cool to see that. Really cool to see that from everybody as I was getting all those suggestions. Thank you guys for joining us. We have one last topic, and then we will wrap up things this evening. We want to kind of talk about a little bit, Ken, our off season. So, why do you keep repeating what I'm saying? Oh.
Me? I'm not saying anything, man.
Is there an echo in there? You're mocking me, aren't you?
I am not.
So
you're mocking me, aren't you?
Our off season.
Off season, what are we gonna do? Right? This is the thing.
Yeah.
So we go into the dark times, right? Starts Black Friday, and then it's like Black Death until first fucking game of next season. Pick your team, right? But you got Premier League, but I'm not interested in Premier League anymore. People who knew it know I used to be a Manchester United fan. They're like, "You give it up on your team?" I'm like, "No, I'm not fucking from Manchester. I don't give a fuck." All
right. Like, watch this. Give me a second. There it goes. Let me just say, in my off season, I have a plan for a couple things. One, you're muted. Why do you not mute yourself when you're muted? What I meant was you're automatically muted by the tools that I have.
Can't see it.
Oh my God, this man.
I told you. Tonight.
That's awesome. I've been playing. I'm just going to take you off red. Apparently, it's not working this evening. I apologize. That's on my end. So
you can't take me off.
I can't take you off. I'm going to be playing a lot of Overwatch 2. I'm going to be playing a lot of Rocket League, I believe. I might actually I used to really like City Skylines. Are you familiar with what City Skylines is, Ken? City Skylines is a Sim City, the new Sim City. Okay, so what's better than working a 75-hour work week in the middle of a holiday season in retail than coming home and managing a 100,000 population city on a game that's super realistic and has all the bells and whistles nowadays? I don't know if you've ever played games like the simulator type games, but they are really fun. I really like all that kind of stuff. You know,
Why
it's
the
like,
fuck would you do that? I don't understand.
because it's
What?
enjoyable. I mean, I don't know,
I'd
but
rather go outside and pound my nuts flat with a fucking hammer. Why? I don't understand
that's
why
extreme.
we.
Um, I do have another channel called This Old Gamer that I make a lot of City Skyline videos, so I might get back into that. I've been making Planet Coaster videos that I don't know. It's just too difficult to edit
Okay.
and film, so I'm not going to do that anymore. What are you going to do in your off season, Ken?
So I decided, with the urging of your wife and some other people, to start doing Dungeons and Dragons again. And I haven't fucking rolled a D20 in 35 years. My friends and I figured it out this past week. Like, how long have we played? I haven't played in like 35 years. But, you know, it's like geeky and not cool when I played, which didn't really fucking bother me all that much. I didn't care. But now I guess it's cool, right? I mean, they're like Dungeon Master rock stars and all this stuff. So I was like, wow, cool. You know, as long as I'm not looked down upon like I was before. And I know some people are still stuck in high school, so they're gonna look down upon it. But there are other people out there that understand it's a fucking super cool game. So we started Dungeons and Dragons game. A bunch of us who knew each other from soccer, which is super cool. And I'm the dungeon master. So I had to relearn all the rules this week. Oh my god, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah. So when was the last time you played, you said?
35 years ago.
Wow. So where did you play? Was it like when you were like growing up in Michigan?
I started playing Dungeons and Dragons when in like fucking hell 80. It was relative. It was super new. And it's kind of right in front of, you know, when all the, you know, right-wing Christians started saying it was all about devil worship and shit like that. But I started playing then. I don't call them Dungeon Masters. I call them Game Masters because we played other games, you know, like Star Frontiers, the science fiction game, and Boot Hill, which was the Wild West game, and shit like the Car Wars, which was the Road Warrior game, shit like that. So I played a whole bunch of them. But then, you know, when I kind of hit, you know, 15, 16, I discovered booze, skateboarding, marijuana, and girls. So I completely lost interest in Dungeons and Dragons.
Interesting.
And then I joined the army. So we did it for real. Yay!
Yeah. Well, you know, it seems very. I like all the premises I see. I'm not involved with it. I don't really have time to do that right now. But I have watched. Katie will watch this YouTube show that at first I kind of like shrugged off, and when I started actually watching it, the guy that plays the Dungeon Master. These are all like, I don't want to say B actors is a horrible way to put it. They're actors that don't get as many big gigs, but they're tremendous. Okay, the Dungeon Master, on there. Yeah, I could listen to that guy all day. Once I started actually hearing him talk and stuff, it was very good. So,
yeah.
Interesting enough, Kentucky ranks 12th in the country with the most D&D players. Utah, however, with the most nerds per capita, is the #1 state for Dungeons and Dragons. So
Utah.
Just thought I would drop that on you there. That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, you know, one thing we talked about, and I want to reach out to everybody out there about is we are an open book. We are ever evolving. Today's program was about as casual of an episode as we have ever done. We have broken all the swear word records in one program as well. But I will tell you that we are growing and we are open for suggestions. So always hit us up on the Twitters and the Instagrams and the Facebooks and all that kind of stuff. And let us know what you think of the show and where we are heading. You know, we've talked about in the off season completely redoing a lot of things and doing something different. We talked about just keeping things just about the same. So we're going to probably have guest hosts and all that. We were hoping to have Hope on tonight's program. If anybody's been keeping up, she's been a little bit under the weather. So we hope Hope gets to feeling better very, very soon. But she was not able to join us tonight. So we miss you, Hope, and hope to see you back. But no pun intended. But you know, we want to bring on new folks, and I like to connect, and maybe we can have some return the favor and get Harry or some of the San Antonio boys on here just to talk soccer, you know, and whatever. Or maybe even D&D. I'm sure some of those guys are into that. Who knows? But we appreciate all the support along the way this season. It's been a very fun year, I think, for this program. I've had a great time making it. Ken, we are at 79 subscribers right now on YouTube. Our goal was to reach 100 in the year 2022. So maybe we could still do that. We got to pump out some content. I think I sent you my Red Dead Redemption, the Western video, the hype up for the championship match.
Yeah.
So we really enjoy making those kind of things. While I'm thinking about it too, you know, I made a little connection. Oh, well, I already know the guy, but talked a little bit with Derek Davis a couple weeks ago. We were hoping to get him on the program to hype up the Open Cup match. Metro unfortunately fell short yesterday, 2-1. Yeah, I know. So their Open Cup run came to a screeching halt, but I think the future is bright for Metro. You know, some of the things he was telling me about Metro Louisville, I just had no clue on you know, how that level of soccer worked and all that kind of stuff. And they've got some great athletes, people that have been in positions in soccer in as high levels MLS in some circumstances in some teams. So that league is growing, and it's great to see local soccer grow, isn't it, Ken?
I think it's awesome. I think I know Derek has been a drummer on the Crew Machine. He's been a member of the Coopers. Even ran for president of the Coopers one year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a good dude, and he's highly involved in local soccer. So I would love to have him on the show. Get him. Come on, Derek. Come on the show.
Yeah, come on, Derek. Check out mostly502.com, which is Derek's website, for more information. Of course, you can hit up Metro on Twitter, Facebook, and all the socials as well. We are also available on all the socials. We would appreciate a like, and tell your friends. If you tell a friend about 24-Hour Purple People, we will send you a set of steak knives.
My curse.
I learned from Ronco Electric Food Dehydrator guy. Ron Bill. Remember that guy?
Are we sending my steak knives or yours? I don't have them.
I've got some. I didn't sell at the yard sale. I'll send somebody if they subscribe. How about that? So we are planning on continuing to have episodes this year. We are probably going to skip next Sunday as it is a holiday weekend. As I mentioned at the top of the program, this will be my 27th Black Friday in a row in retail. So Sunday I will be completely worn out. I'm scheduled to work about 75 hours this week, starting at 7 a.m. tomorrow. So, and that includes being off on Thanksgiving. So we'll see. Hopefully I make it to number 28. I'm very grateful though that I've made it that far. Perseverance, you know, it's just like, it's the reason that I did graduate college is I never missed a class. I didn't make particularly great grades, but I was always there. And I've been very consistent, so I'm very happy.
You never missed a class in college?
Never, even if I stayed up drinking until 2 a.m.
What college did you go to?
Murray State University. Go Racers.
I missed a lot of classes.
I mean, I might have missed like one, but I'm just saying. I was very consistent. And thank God my wife tutored me through college algebra, or I would have been screwed. Algebra was never my subject.
Good thing you work.
Do what?
Good thing you work with numbers now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So anyway, we hope everybody out there has a amazing Thanksgiving, and you get to see some family and chill and eat some good food and watch some football and other football if you choose to watch the World Cup. I understand some people don't like Ken, and I completely understand that. I've seen quite the sentiment about
I've
that.
been to Qatar, man.
Understandable.
Not a good place.
Yeah, I know. But we are glad that first and foremost you watched tonight's program and supported 24-Hour Purple People. Ken, any closing thoughts on tonight's program or anything as we head into the off season and our next episode 2 weeks from tonight?
Yep, I'm gonna play the song of the year.
Song of the year.
Yeah, man. Uh-oh, it's not playing.
You gotta go through the ad first. Hit the skip ad thing or whatever it is. You know, whatever you want to do. I'm not hearing any music. Can you put the phone up to the?
You're the best fucking night of my life.
Oh, that song. Yeah, that's great. Well, enjoy your D&D. Enjoy your D&D. I'm sure you're going to be an excellent dungeon master, and I'm sure that you're going to have a lot of fun. You got a cavity, buddy. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun with Katie and whoever the hell else is in that group. I wish you the very best. We thank you all for watching and putting up with these shenanigans this evening. Don't forget to follow us on all the socials. Uh-oh, we have got a camera down. For Ken Luther, I'm John Harper. We'll see you next time. We're 24-Hour Purple People. We love you all. And good night from Louisville. Goodbye. Bye, Harry.